I was delighted when Sheila Pinkerton offered to address us on the history of Vinnies. Sheila was a 10-pound pom in 1963 and coming from Yorkshire with hubby and the 4 children. On their second day in Australia, they decided on purchasing a house in Elizabeth, and they put their £250 deposit down on the house to secure the deposit, and it left them with £5 left in the kitty. They were the days. After 10 years in Elizabeth, they shifted to Gawler, and after 7 children, well done. Unfortunately, hubby died 26 years ago, just 2 years into his retirement. Sheila used to work in aged care at McEwen Hospital, and she has been in Gawler since 1973 and has volunteered at Vinnies since then. We give a very warm welcome to Sheila Pinkerton.
Well, first of all, I'm not used to speaking to so many people, but I'll do my best. As you know, my name is Sheila Pinkerton, and I've been a Vinnies volunteer in Gawler for 25 years. And before that, I volunteered for Vinnies in Elizabeth, working in the Elizabeth shop and visiting the people in need. Vinnies was started in France by Frederick Ozanam in the 1800s. He saw the need to help the poor and the disadvantaged by delivering them food, and especially on the ships where the people were in the galleys that were being deported or transferred to other places. Therefore, our meetings are all called conference meetings, because that is in France, they call the meetings conferences. So we have a conference in Gawler, right? Vinnies came to Gawler on April the 27th, 1904. It was the first country branch of the society in South Australia. By February of the following year, we made it into the Bunyip newspaper. In the year, the members had made 86 visits to the poor in their own homes and distributed 27 parcels of groceries, 14 parcels of clothing, 2 parcels of boots, didn't wear shoes then, they all wore boots, 10 lots of wood, 2 lots of bread and 2 lots of flour. In 3 cases, the homes were cleaned and a sum of money paid to assist another family. As stated then, and is still true today, the Society is unsectarian in its work, and no inquiries of a religious nature are ever made when distributing relief or visiting. A bit further on, I'll tell you about the utility that we have. But I had to remember it then. The utility has no signs on, because if people are getting furniture and things from a charity and the neighbours are around, it's for their dignity. We just hide it. We don't have any names on anything. In 1907, a ladies' sewing guild soon started helping the conference. 2 wars and a depression changed many things. In the early 60s, Vinnies restarted. On the 5th of March 1979, opening of the family centre at number 6 Adelaide Road, which is where the Salvation Army now have their shop, and it was managed by a Miss Veronica George, who had a grocery shop in Murray Street. On the 16th of March 1981, that shop closed. On the 21st of March 1981, Vinnies opened at 14A Adelaide Road. It was 14A as there was a small house at the back, sometimes used for overnight accommodation. Excuse me. The new storage centre was first used on the 12th of March 1992. The centre opened as Vinnies Barn, and we operated from there. People came round to Vinnies Barn, became quite well known. In 1993, the old house was demolished and a new centre was built. In 1996, a community grant gave us our first utility. On the 27th of November 2018, that centre was closed, and we are now relocated to 48 Murray Street in Gawler. Gawler Vinnies is far different today than in earlier years. Today we have 32 shops over the state. Gawler area covers from Gawler, Port Wakefield, Kapunda, Barossa, Gawler and its environs. So wherever there is a need for help, we will go, regardless of who they are or how long it takes. The shop's sales help to finance the society, which today includes the men's shelter, the Women's Crisis Centre, the Migrant and Refugee Centre and community housing and more. Some of the funny things that happen in the shop is somebody comes in for help and we give them a bag of food and a voucher to go to the local Foodland shop, and they can get fresh meat and vegetables there, and we give them a bag of food, roughly around about $50. Usually the vouchers are about $40, more if they have a big family. But some of the funny things that happen is you get somebody who comes in and they're really, really hard up and they need this and they need that. But when they've gone, you find the loaves of bread or the tins of beans outside. They don't want them, but they won't tell you that they don't want them. They'll just dump them, right? We often have dirty shoes left in the change rooms where they've walked out with a pair of new shoes. And sometimes people come in and cause a disturbance, so while the person is helping them, somebody else is helping themselves. That's just the way it is. We often have second-hand dealers in the shops trying to buy up things cheap so that they can sell them. And we need lots of younger people. We're all getting old. You know, you look at us and you think, well, that you are getting old and somebody needs to take over and help you. The schools help. St Bridget's and Xavier College. Xavier College alone donates roughly 7,000 cans of food per year. And that goes to help us in the food parcels and also for the Christmas hampers. Any money that we can raise, of course, we have to buy food to fill the things. You don't get it all donated. Sometimes it's $1,000 or $1,100 a month is what we're paying out for food to help to feed people. We run Fred's van each Thursday night where anyone can get a hot meal. And I know that Pat knows all about that. You get people from all over. There used to be people that came up from as far down as Christie's Beach on the train, and they would get the train up to Gawler Central, come and have some food and then get the train back. Because some people are really, really not well off at all. No matter how much they get in from Central Lincoln places, there are still things that they need. I myself prefer to do home visiting, which I have done for many years, but now because of the safety process, we're not allowed to go into the homes to ask what needed help. Somebody can come along and say to you, I really need a table and chairs, and you would say to them, well, how are you sleeping? Will you show me a bedroom? It'd be on the floor. They wouldn't ask for anything else. And I well remember one place I went into, and they were very, very poor, but they had the largest television set that I've ever seen, and it was sitting on 4 cans of paint. But they didn't want anything else, but they had the television. Food clothing and furniture, etc. is given free to people in need. Nobody pays anything if they are in need. If they need help, it is given to them without cost for anything. So sometimes, you know, you look at something and you think, oh my goodness, I'm never going to be able to fill this, but somewhere, God willing, the stuff is there. We run a garage sale monthly to sell surplus goods, and we have a rag sale. We supply businesses with clothing and things that we can't use. We make them into rags and sell them. We supply Gawler Council with their oily rags that they need. People come from far and wide and buy a sack full. Christmas hampers. Christmas hampers are given out each year to roughly 100 families. Now we do check that they aren't getting a hamper from somewhere else, because sometimes people put the name down 2 or 3 times. And we always give new toys for children. We never give them a second-hand toy. No child wants to open up a Christmas present and find it's somebody else's well-worn doll that one child had given. Sometimes, as I say, it's 100 families, but we go over that. We really do go over that. As we're not allowed to do home visits anymore, help is offered 5 days a week at Julian Terrace. That is located at the back of the new shop. People have their own entrance and waiting area for privacy. It takes an awful lot to come in to say to somebody, I need help. I need food for my children. I need this, I need that, I need petrol to get so-and-so. I might need a suit for a new job, for an interview for a job. Please, can you help us? And invariably, we do. A small story. On one of the coldest days this year, a young man rang me at 10:30 a.m. He was in tears. He'd lost his lodgings and had a 4-year-old child with him. The Housing Trust had given him an emergency house in Gawler, empty. How could he sleep the child? What can I do? Where can I put him? I'm not worried about anything else, but I want something for my child to lie on. I'm proud to say that this was at 10:30 in the morning. At 2:30 p.m. that day, Vinnies took him a house full of furniture. Bedding, beds, kitchen gear, linen, food, anything that would help him out. We surely lived up to our logo. The logo of the society. The society, which reflects its mission and spirit, was the thought of the Australian sculptor Tom Blass in 1965. It was adopted by the National Council in 1976 and is the symbol of the society in Australia. The cup of cold water, help, in other words, which is given to the poor, is to actually feed the poor or visit the lonely, the sick, or those in prison. The hand of love offers the cup. Cup is there, and hand the cup. In serving the poor, we serve Christ himself, who is present in each person. The hand of suffering that receives the cup, and the hand of blessing that covers it. Now, that's about all I can say. I can't make it last for an hour, but if you'd like to ask any questions, I'll try to answer them.
Yes, Brian, I've got a question. Everybody here probably doesn't know Sheila very well, but Sheila's service to community is legendary. I'd just like Sheila to spend a couple of minutes and tell us about her involvement in Barkuma, if that's okay. Please, thank you.
It's actually nothing to do with Vinnies.
It's nothing to do with Vinnies, I know, but it's to do with you, Sheila.
Okay, well, we came here in 1963 with 4 children. The eldest one was 6, Jerry. The eldest one was 6. Our fifth child was born disabled, and we were told that she would never walk or talk or speak or see us. She didn't know who we were, and we had to cope with her. There was nothing then. In those days, Strathmont was built for people with intellectual disabilities, but to go there, your child had to walk because there were carpets on the floor. So there was nothing. So the parents got together and we built Barkuma on Smithfield. We never had any help from the government to begin with. Just the families, just the parents of these disabled children. I was on television and spoke to Neil Adcock, which was many, many years ago, and I asked him what was going to happen to these children. Nobody was going to have them because they didn't go to school. They were just, well, in some words people would say vegetables, but they weren't. They were people that had everything. So we set to and built Barkuma. My husband, my late husband, and the president of the association used to stand in the hotel every Saturday night and sell a meal, because in those days you could have a supper after closing time, and they would sell these meals every week, and that raised $7,000 one year, which put the roof on top of Barkuma. Barkuma today is an accommodation, and there's a lot of people there now, but when you think of how we started off with nothing, it was hard work. My daughter lived until she was 40, and then she died. Any more questions?
Yes.
I took some goods onto Adelaide Road, probably a couple of years ago now, and I was told a little story. I don't know whether I should be sharing it, but something was found in a coat pocket, large amount of money. Are you happy to share that? Somebody had forgotten they'd put some money in a coat pocket, or they didn't know it was there?
Yes, but what happened was when stuff comes in for sorting, you must sort, especially men, you must sort their suits out, because they do drop the odd $50 in things, and we usually put that towards Christmas hampers and things. I did find, one day we found a wedding ring, and I couldn't find out where it had come from. I took it to the police station, and the police found the person who it belonged to. They came from Two Wells, and they dumped something, and this wedding ring was in there. So I felt proud about that we'd actually given it back.
Yeah, Ian.
What was your association with Ron Bennett then at Barkuma?
Ron Bennett was the president of the society, and my husband was with him, and we all served on the committees and did what we could.
And he was one of the ones that started it
Yes.
as well? Yeah.
Ron Bennett had 2 children who became spastic after having the Salk vaccine, and they became spastic children, and that's what started it off. And of course we came along, we had this child who you had to lift and carry and nothing could be done for, and we got together, and that's when we started. We had a competition to get the name of Barkuma, and Barkuma means it's Aboriginal for where the rivers meet, and it was a schoolgirl in Crystal Brook that won the competition. But today it's a very big, we've got an office here in Gawler, and they asked me to go back after 50 years and talk to them. That's the second one I've done.
I remember quite a while ago, I used to belong to a stunt team, and you had an annual fete, and we did a stunt show at
Yes.
that fete.
And what was it, Humphrey Bear came as well, one thing, and people came from all over, but we did raise money. It was the only way we could raise money.
Bev?
Sheila, getting back to Vinnies, What sort of things do you want the community to give, to donate, that's going to be helpful to the group?
Furniture. Furniture is always welcome because there's always somebody that needs something. Not so much food because we can cope with that, but at Christmas we could ask people, you know, that would donate food towards Christmas hampers. Clothing, good quality clothing. We sell the stuff in the shop for anybody that wants to get it. And I have been told that since we've moved into the new shop, that the prices have increased. Because we're not really an op shop, as it were. We sell good quality clothing, and as I tell you, the money that is bought from the shops helps all these other places, the domestic violence and all sorts of things. But anything really, anything. If the clothing is stained or anything bad, we cut it up into rags and sell them.
Do you deal with domestic violence?
Only the fact that we give them the furniture that they need and the food that they need. They will come in and ask for help. That's about the only thing that we do with domestic violence. But we're always there to help. And some people have been coming in for years. I've seen little kids growing up. You know, they were tiny when they came. And they become part, well, you become part of their family.
Do you have many helpers?
There's more helpers now because of this, the work for the dole sort of thing, that they have to do so many hours. So we are getting people in, but you really need more and more, really.
Where is Barkuma now?
They've got an office on Phillip Highway, opposite where Holden's was, but they have an office here on 12th Street.
Because the one at Hastbury Road's not there anymore, is it?
Sorry?
The one on Hastbury Road?
No, it's not there anymore. It's been taken over. I believe it's been knocked down, and it's now aged housing.
I was just going to say, I think there is something for domestic violence, but we keep quiet about it.
Oh.
Like there's you know, I don't even know where it is, but there is a place where you can go and you can take your pets to. Yes.
That's the Women's Christian Centre. That's what they call it. The Women's Christian Centre. Is that right, Pat? It says here community housing as well, so we're not allowed to say where domestic violence people can go in case other people find them that they don't want to be found.
There is definitely what Vinnies run one themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Yes.
What's the most unusual thing that has been brought in that surprised you to be able to sell on?
The most unusual thing that's ever been brought in that surprised you?
We got a wooden serpent once. Thank goodness it was wooden. we did get that. We get all sorts of things. It's like Aladdin's cave, really, with all the things that are there. It's surprising what some people will donate. A lot of people just donate what they want to get rid of, and we're left with having to get rid of it. Excuse me.
What's the cost you to get rid of stuff that you don't need?
Yes, we do get rid of it though. We usually have the garage sale to try and get rid of anything that is
Otherwise
surplus.
you've got to pay to get rid of it.
Yeah. The garage, because the centre that was on Adelaide Road was sold, we had to relocate, which meant that there had to be somewhere for the men to go who did the furniture. So we now have a store at number 2 Howard Street in Gawler, and the men are there. They mend the furniture. $5 Pat Jean.
How often do you have the garage?
Once a month, and it's always in the bunyip. Tells you that it's in the bunyip. Number 2 Howard Street. It's the top of Howard Street near the railway.
Yeah, I've seen it from the train.
Mm-hmm. And there's quite a lot of things there. People come in and buy things from there. You know, we just have to make money the best we can.
Yeah.
And someone delivers
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
My
yes,
next
if you-
door neighbour does.
Yes, if you buy furniture or anything like that, the men will deliver it, but they will charge you a little bit to deliver it for the cost of petrol. You know, somebody out 2 wells might want something and cost quite a bit. But anybody that needs help gets it free. We don't charge them anything.
For the purpose of the tape, we have an agreement that anyone's mobile phone goes off during the meeting, it's going to cost them $5. And you're recorded for history. Any other questions?
Do you pick up furniture?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, you need to ring the shop and they will take a note, tell the men at the store, and they will tell you when they can come and pick it up. They pick up everything.
I think my next door neighbour, Alan Reinke,
Oh yes, I know Alan.
Yeah.
Mm.
I've seen him bring stuff up.
Yes.
You don't take electrical items now?
We don't take electrical items, nothing electrical, that is fridges and washing machines. We don't do that because I remember giving somebody a fridge and it blew up and we sued the society. So there was a blanket coverage on those things. We don't take cots, baby cots, unless they've got the legislation, got the actual separation of the wooden bars or whatever it is. There's certain things, but most things we take. Bedding, sheets, blankets. People donate knitted goods, hats for the winter for people, all those kind of things. We accept all those and give them out.
When you get the sheets and blankets delivered, you have to clean them.
Yeah, we usually make sure that we never put anything in the shop or give out anything that has got stains or anything on. What we do is we put that to one side for the rags so that they get a decent thing. We do get second-hand sheets and blankets, but they are clean.
So you'd have to clean them before you put them in the shop.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Mattresses are a no-no, aren't they?
Unless they're in very good condition with no tears or rips or anything, they won't accept them. They can't accept them.
Mattresses, you can't accept. Okay, any other questions? I'll now ask Ray to give a vote of thanks, please.
Sheila, thank you very much for the talk tonight. It's you're a bit of a hero and a novelty as well, because people, when they go down the main street and they see Vinnies, they say, well, that's just another Vinnies store, and they probably wouldn't even go in there. But after having something to do with Vinnies, I know when my mum passed away, my dad passed away, Vinnies were there in helping Mum go through the crisis, even though there was the 5 brothers and sisters and that. But they were always there. And I must note that I do remember you now, not so much for the Vinnies side of it, but for the Barkuma side. And I live just around the corner from Barkuma, and I was involved with the football club. We used to have weekend sessions for the kids.
That's
with
right.
the footballers and that. So I do remember you.
Yeah, I don't care then.
Yeah, I think we're a little bit younger as well. So on behalf of our group here, we'd just like to thank you very much for an entertaining talk.
Pleasure.
And hopefully we'll see you again in the future.
Thank you very much. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.